Welcome back, ANY. Been a while since we last had a chat.
Hello, Dr. Wolf. Yeah, I kind of get this a lot recently. Might be related to something I worry about for quite a while now, if I'm honest.
Oh? And what might that be?
Well, you might have realized well put together content has become kind of a rarity on my channel. I had a bit of a struggle before after my season 4 related creative, I don't want to call it a burnout, but something in that kind of direction, if you get what I mean.
I believe so.
Okay, so I had the feeling I went past that, and even with my move and my new occupation, I managed to get some videos out I'm really proud of. I also did a bit of experimentation with new types of shows and other topics outside of the Brony fandom. Most of those didn't go anywhere, but hey, I was still active, and trying out new directions is usually a good way to maybe freshen stuff up a bit. But it already became harder and harder to find the energy and motivation to sit down and put some quality content together after spending more and more time and focus at work. But I also didn't want to lose grip on what was going on in the fandom, so my last big attempt to get back into the saddle was my Spectaculum Collaboratio for Season 5. After all, episode analysis was what I started out with, what people came for in the first place. I simply didn't want to miss out on it. I saw potential in doing a lot of collabs in order to get some new inspirations for myself, and getting help with the editing of the videos from my partners looked actually like a solution to the problem that I simply had not the time to produce a weekly video. But, well, everybody who kept a close look on my channel throughout the later Season 5 can tell how that went. For the second half of 2015 I haven't produced anything of noteworthy quality for my channel.
I see. Though I would say that you've garnered far more of an audience than most who try their hand at YouTube, I can certainly understand your concerns. However, one particular question comes to mind here. What exactly are you afraid of if you're unable to recapture that creativity that got you started?
Well, I have been running this channel for over 3 years now. I started while I was still in college and had a lot of time, and I spent it producing content. When Digibro turned analysis into a thing back then, I was among the top 5 what would later be called the Bronyalists. This MLP analysis stick is an adorable, small and limited niche in comparison to the majority of other content branches on YouTube. But it felt fantastic nonetheless. And I recently came across this one video in which I literally celebrated my first 3-digit subscriber count. And now here I am with 20,000 people having at one point or another decided that my opinions and or jokes are worth their time. I guess what I want to say is this channel has been a big part of my life for the past few years. I got used to it being there as an outlet, as a venue through which I can exchange ideas with other people in the comments and such, and also being somebody noteworthy within the community. I have been told, and sometimes was even allowed to witness myself, how I and my work inspired other people and spawned some completely new projects. Sometimes even real freaky stuff, like people who only got into contact with each other because they both used to be fans or friends of mine, and now they are in a relationship. Kind of through me, not as a matchmaker, but as a catalyst. I know that this sounds completely selfish, but I also love the amounts of fan art I got from so many different sources. I remember being afraid of calling the first pieces I got fan art, since that would imply that I had actual fans. But with my lack of content, those grew scarcer as well. Man, this sounds like a first world problem if I ever heard one. But from a completely subjective point of view, I guess what I'm afraid of is losing relevance among the ever-growing group of MLP YouTubers.
I would guess there's more to it than just losing relevance. I believe it is because you found a sense of purpose you really hadn't found anywhere else in your life. You talk about how you were able to influence and uplift others, how you were able to make a small impact in the community. And I'd be willing to bet you haven't found anywhere near that kind of sense of purpose in your everyday life. I'm very glad to hear that you have a full-time career now, ANY, and that you're taking steps towards long-term goals. And I suspect that same career is taking a considerable amount away from what you used to spend on projects. Not just in the time you spend, but in the mental and emotional energy you're spending as well. I know this kind of feeling all too often. I really had to get so used to my everyday workload over the course of more than 7 years before I could find the mental and emotional energy on a consistent basis to maintain a YouTube channel. But that's not what you're truly afraid of here. I have no doubt that you have the fortitude to keep up with your career over the long term. In fact, I wholeheartedly encourage it. What really gets to you is the worry that you may never have that kind of positive influence over so many others ever again. And perhaps the thought of losing such a gift for the rest of your life is more than you can bear. Does any of this make sense to you, ANY?
You make what I have considered a bit of a vice about myself actually sound rather noble. Guess that is one of your gifts. However, my self-critical inner cynic kind of struggles with completely accepting that it is mostly the positive influence on others I have that I am afraid of losing. But you sure have a point. The attention and illusion of fame feels great. However, many of the more memorable moments of my time in the community are the ones where I felt good for others. Being the one getting those people to know each other and observing them becoming friends and later even more. Reading those comments by people who simply had a good time thanks to one of my videos. Or the ones where I actually could help somebody finding an answer to something that bugged them, or simply the next good fan fiction to read. I really like my work, and all things considered, I'm doing very well there. From intern to the head of my own little team within 2 years makes me feel good, and I can influence things for the better in my company as well. But it isn't the same. No matter how much I like my work, being able to spend all this energy into a hobby, something I only do for the love of the thing itself, is something else entirely. At this point, I am not sure if I should feel good or bad about hearing that it took you 7 years to get yourself arranged around your work in a way that allows you to run your channel the way you do today. On the one hand, it is good to hear that it might just be a matter of time for me to be able to focus more on my private projects again. On the other hand, 7 years is a long time. I kind of doubt that MLP will still be running in 5 years. And even if, will I be able to get back to where I was? I tried starting new, different themed channels over the last year, but starting out from scratch is difficult and also frustrating if you once have been up there. So yeah, I see followers growing apart from me and also more new channels rising and eventually surpassing me. No matter if it is pure vanity or actual fear of losing a great gift. It doesn't feel good.
I'm glad to see so many others have tried their hand in the community, so to speak. I was actually one of those fans who was partially influenced by your work back in early 2013. However many other reasons there are for why I got started, I hope you can look back and realize that the efforts you put in are continuing to make a difference, even if it is through indirect means. I believe you can return to form in the coming years, but I encourage you to take charge of the life you are living now, as difficult as that may be. I love this community, and I am continually amazed by how much I've been able to accomplish since I decided to contribute. But through it all, I know I have to build a stable future for both myself and my family. Only after I have put in more than enough work to support those who need me to be dependable can I invest my time into something fun and inspiring. In time, if you can learn to accept that frame of mind, ANY, I'm sure you will regain that creative drive and ability to influence others just as you used to. And in the meantime, I know there's plenty of people out there who still want to include you in various projects simply because they enjoy having you around. Perhaps it isn't so much your own channel anymore, but it is still an opportunity to do more than most. Do you think you can make that work, ANY?
I believe that this is something I already started doing, only subconsciously until now. When I get opportunities to join in on projects that are less stressful than, for example, episode reviews, I usually seize those nowadays. It is still great fun to work with others, and while it is, as you said, less for my own channel, it still lets me be part of the community and stay in contact with friends as well as what I love doing. Maybe it is really just a matter of time to get used to the new situation. After all, I just started this job 2 years ago, and during this period a lot of stuff changed for me, keeping me working to capacity most of the time. So rather than getting frustrated over the consequences my current situation in life has on my channel, I should accept how it is and instead focus on smaller outlets that I can keep up even while work is so demanding. And also there are the differences you mentioned I already made and that keep on going. They might not be as visible as they used to be, but there are still the small and sometimes even bigger reminders of them I come across every now and then. Instead of looking at them as remnants of, warning, cheesy expression coming in, former glory, I should see them as reminders of what I already achieved. I guess that is something I can work towards.
That's wonderful to hear, ANY. It will be challenging, but I have no doubt it'll be worthwhile. Shall we continue on this next week?
Sounds good to me. Unless we meet before that once more on the TF2 battlefield. I still have a few grenades with the name of those robot tin cans I want to deliver.
Looking forward to it. Take care, ANY, and best of luck to you. It's good to be helping.